This video will give you an overview of the tips and strategies necessary to complete and do well on the ACT reading section. The ACT will always present you with 4 long readings: a prose, social science, humanities, and natural science. Each passage is approximately 800 words and asks 10 questions. Because you have a total of 35 minutes to complete this section, you should spend around 8.5 minutes on each reading. The ACT reading section is extremely time sensitive, not only because the passages are long and contain many questions, but also because the questions are in random order. Often you find yourself reading lines over and over again, hunting for the answers because the questions are very detailed oriented. Therefore, in order to not run out of time and ace this section, you must strategize. A simple first strategy is that you do not need to do the passages in the order provided. Instead, complete your strongest passage first. 75% of students have trouble with the prose passage and thus spend too much time on it. If you are one of these students, then you should work backwards, starting with the natural science passage. Or try completing the social science and science passages before moving on to the humanities and prose passages. The order will not be the same for everyone. It is important to complete the passages that reflect your strengths first. As already stated, the ACT reading section is all about strategy. This video will quickly explain several effective and time-saving reading strategies for the ACT exam. Using the line references is a key strategy. Before reading the passage, look at the questions and quickly note which ones contain line references. Then, mark the number of the question next to the lines within the passage. Answer these questions first and complete them in order of the line reference, not the order of the questions. So, for example, answer a question referencing line number 10 before you answer a question referencing line number 45. It just so happens that in this passage, the line references are in order, but be careful, this is not normally the case. There are 3 ways to handle answering the line references first. The first way is to read up to the paragraph with the line reference, then stop. Find the question that is referenced within the paragraph and read it. Then read the paragraph and answer the question immediately afterwards. Another option is to read to the end of the paragraph with the line reference. Stop, read and answer the question immediately. This is the path most students take. The last method for completing line references is to read the entire passage and answer all line reference questions in the order asked before completing the other questions. In order to decide what is the best method for you, you must try all 3 ways to see what works best for your reading style. The circle method is another must-use strategy. You will not have time to slowly read ACT passages. If you do, then you will most likely run out of time. Instead, you must know when to read closely and when to skim. You should read the introduction, topic sentences, and conclusion slowly. You skim body paragraphs by using the circle method. Because the ACT requires that you focus on details, circling the details as you come across them will allow you to find these details quickly later as you are answering the questions. As you skim, circle all names, dates, places, numbers, italics, weird words, and transitional thought reversers. Speaking of thought reversers, let's take a moment to learn about the birthday words. Birthday words are thought reversers. Why do we call them birthday words? Because they are a gift that will help you read for comprehension as well as answer questions quickly. They are also called birthday words because they spell out birthday. But, instead, rather, though, however, despite, although, yet. These are the birthday words. Make sure you commit these words to memory because being able to locate these words within the passage is key to doing well on the ACT reading section. Whenever you see these small but important words, you must circle the thought reverser and underline the entire sentence. Trust me, this is an important gift. These thought reversers indicate important sentences and contain answers. When you skim a passage, you should slow down whenever you see a thought reverser and read this sentence closely. Circling thought reversers and underlining these sentences is the trick to answering the questions correctly. Another important strategy is to create a roadmap. As explained earlier, the problem with the ACT readings is that the questions do not go in order, and many students waste precious time rereading while they hunt for the answer. If you create a map, then hunting for answers becomes simple. So how do you create this map? Focus on the introduction, topic sentences of each paragraph, and conclusion. The paragraphs are often short on the ACT, and short paragraphs are perfect for the roadmap strategy. So, focus on the topic sentences and figure out what the passage is discussing. Underline this sentence. Think about what the paragraph will be about from this sentence. If the first sentence does not indicate the focus of the paragraph, then you might have to read the second. This passage is a perfect example of how useful it is to create a roadmap. From this topic sentence, we can see the entire paragraph is about domesticating animals. The next topic sentence indicates the paragraph's focus is on the goat. The next paragraph is about sheep. Once you clearly know what the paragraph is about, then quickly scan the rest of the paragraph. Use the circle method as you skim. Some students have time to write 1 or 2 words on the side of the paragraph, highlighting the main idea, but many do not and have to keep a mental note of what each paragraph is about. Also, it is important to underline topic sentences because there will be a question or two in most passages in which the answer is found in the topic sentence. Remember, do not do the questions in order. Once you've answered the line reference questions, skip except and Roman numeral questions, and only answer these after you have completed all the other questions for the specific passage. Also, skip the first question in each passage because this question is often a main idea question and can easily be answered after all the other questions have been answered. The except and Roman numeral questions take the longest and might require that you scan through the entire passage. Wear a watch and note the time. Be willing to sacrifice questions and move to the next passage. You don't want time to expire before you ever get to passage number 4. The X method is another strategy that we love. Studies have shown that your eyes often experience regression when you read, meaning you unconsciously reread the lines above. The X method saves time. Simply put a big X through the question once you've answered it. By visually putting an X, your eyes will not reread the question. This is helpful because you are not answering the questions in order. You want to quickly locate the questions you have not completed. Notice in this passage how the line references do not go in order. I am first answering question 15, before answering questions 14, 12, and so on. There will be one double passage per reading section. The double passage floats from test to test, meaning sometimes the double passage could be a humanities reading, or sometimes a prose passage, or maybe a science. For the double passage reading, read passage 1 and answer the questions for passage 1. Then read passage 2 and answer questions addressing this passage. After answering the questions that relate individually to each passage, answer the compare and contrast questions. The key to the double passage is taking a moment after you read each passage and generating the main idea and recognizing the relationship between the two passages. As you begin the second passage, think, what is the main idea and how does it differ from the first passage? 2 common relationships are contrasting viewpoints and a general passage versus a specific example that reflects the idea developed within the general passage. Now let's turn our attention to 2 more strategies, zoning and previewing. If you're confused within a passage or it is very detail-oriented, then zone. Read a third and skim the questions, answering what you can. Then read the next third and repeat until you finish the passage. If you are an extremely fast reader, then preview the questions, circling the keywords within the question. This will help you locate answers as you read. Only do this if you are a fast reader. Understanding how to bubble on your answer sheet will save enormous time. Do not bubble after you answer each question. Remember, you are not answering the questions in order. You are also not reading the passages in order. Instead, you must answer an entire passage in your test booklet. Then transfer your answers to the bubble sheet after you finish the passage. However, Do not save your bubbling for the very end, after you've finished all 4 readings. What if you run out of time? Remember, you must bubble after completing each reading. If, at the end, you are running low on time, you might bubble as you answer the last passage, just in case you do not have time to finish this last reading. Once again, this was a quick overview of the methods you'll use to complete the ACT reading section. Be comfortable switching between strategies as the passage demands it. Remember to check out our channel for more helpful strategies and how-to videos. Finally, be sure to go to www.wilsondailyprep.com for more online test prep, including daily SAT and ACT practice questions. Daily practice is the key to testing success.